Shivoham, welcome. Sipin Raju, Sipin Sanjay Das, Sipin Samita, Sipin Parvatiyama, Sipin Sudeep Bhargava, Sipin Bridget, Sipin Krishna Sharma, Sipin Roop, Sipin Rajender, Sipin Kaumudi, Motkulanand, Shivoham, Dasi, Shivoham, welcome to the call. Kumar Swami, Shivoham, Gaurish, and the rest of you whom I cannot see. Welcome to the call. Today we have a question that has been posed to me. And the question is, it's on your screen. Can spiritual growth be measured? Correct? Can spiritual growth be measured? Anybody would like to take it? Can you measure your spiritual growth, my dear friends? Yes. Anybody wants to try? Sudeep Bhargava? Sanjay Das. Who wants to go? Sudeep.
Sudeep,
Yes,
carrier.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Shivam,
Yes,
sir.
Shivoham, Sudeep.
Sir, you gave me a couple of weeks back, you gave me this measurement that how much time do I take to come back to consciousness? When I told you that I got angry and then I realized that, okay, this is my ego getting angry. You said, so how much time do you take? Earlier I used to take hours together. Now it was only a few minutes. So you said you bring it down to seconds. So I think time could be one thing. How much time you take to come back to this, to realize that what we have done is wrong and we need to come back to our consciousness.
Good. So there is no structured method like COVID. In COVID, they will tell you how to measure whether you have got COVID or not. You can measure your temperature. You can do the RT-PCR test, and you can make out what is your problem. I mean, whether you have it or not. But how do you measure spiritual progress? Is there a method? Is there a methodology? How do you do it? Anybody else? So Sudeep Bhargava says, I measure it by my speed or my pace of coming back from anger, from a state of anger. This is his learning.
Shivam Guruji.
Shivam, Sanjay.
What I feel it is actually we can experience it and by self-realization.
But how do you measure it, I'm saying?
That whatever the challenges are coming, how you are able to face it when you are realizing the truth. By not getting angry and how to deal the situation, because that can be only done when we are following in the spiritual path.
But I'm asking you a question. Have you been able to measure? For example,
I got it, sir. Like a thermometer, we are measuring our temperature.
Correct.
Like you say, a graph has been given, how much steps we have, how much percent we are on the spiritual.
You remember the graph? You have the graph with you?
I don't have right with me. It is there. I've been seeing, and I wanted to ask sometime.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. I remember we did a grid. We called it the spiritual grid. I think we call it, right?
Beautiful book that was. Yeah.
So I mean, every day I put a question which I am asked. These questions are asked to me, correct? And I pose the question back to you because it helps us on the journey. So is there a way to measure? See, every day you're coming on this call. How is it helping you? Is there a way to measure how you are getting better? Is there a way to measure? For example, I measure my weight every day. Every day I check my weight, whether I'm up by 200 grams or I'm down by 200 grams. Right. Yes, Krishna Sharma.
Shivam Guruji.
Reactions or responses will tell you whether you are progressing or not. If you are reacting to the situations, you are not progressing. If you are responding to the situations, you are progressing. You yourself can understand that you are progressing. And it is from self-realization to God realization. Are you able to become, are you able to make it out or not? Knowing yourself is one thing, but seeing the Seva in everything is one more thing.
Excellent. That is, you have put a very excellent point now. See, Krishna Sharma has now brought a very excellent, what I will call milestone. You know what milestone is, right? So, for example, you're going from Bombay to Pune. How much was the distance Bombay to Pune? How many kilometers? Anybody?
170.
170 kilometers. So when you start from Bombay, it tells you Pune 170. Then it tells you 160. Then it tells you 150. Finally, when you're 10 kilometers, it will tell you Pune is 10 kilometers away. So you know from Bombay to Pune, 170 kilometers, you know the progress because you're going step by step. So here Krishna Sharma brought about a very good progress where he said, whether I am moving from self-realization to God realization. It's a great, but how do you know self-realization and God realization? Many people in this group may not be very clear on that. So for example, self-realization is, have you transcended the body, the mind, and the ego? The next step of God realization is, do you see the supreme immortal power in one and all? Very difficult. If you have reached that level of seeing God realization, which is supreme immortal power everywhere, oh, then your spiritual growth you have already reached the top. But how many? The problem is there are 2-3 problems here. One, we are not able to measure easily. 2, we don't measure. We are able to measure, but we don't measure. 3, we are constantly going up and down. Because sometimes you feel up, then your mind pulls you down, then you're up, then your senses, your ego pulls you down. Sometimes you're confused. Am I going forward in the spiritual journey? How can my spiritual growth be measured? Anybody else would like to try before we conclude this point? Anybody else wants to try? How can
I want to say something.
Yes.
Our spiritual progress can be measured by happiness without anything happening, like being happy without any reason, like not
Good.
acquiring anything, not eating something or not seeing something, but just happy on our own.
Very good. Again, a good point. Again, an excellent point. So let me add to you. We had a new mantra. It is called HPP. HPPSS. HPPSS means, what is your happiness level? What is your peace level? What is your purpose level? HPP. What is your suffering level? What is your level of self-realization? What is your level of G, God realization? Your level of enlightenment, your level of Sat Chit Anand, your level of understanding karma, and your level of moksha, nirvana, which is your highest level. So we called it HPPSS, then GEKSM. HPPSS GEKSM. We just created a small formula. So what is this? What is this formula we are talking about? HPPSS. Right? The HPPSS, again, happiness, peace, purpose, suffering, enlightenment. HPP, self-realization, sorry. HPPSS, happiness, purpose, peace, purpose, suffering, self-realization. G, God realization. E, enlightenment. K, karma. S, Satchidanand. M, moksha. So we created a new method, and to see, of course, please don't, every time we come with one new formula. When Hitkari ji asked me for one thing, we had 10 keys for Mr. Hitkari. It started with Talash, and that was something else. He asked me, give me a 10-step method to take us from the beginning to the end. No, this is now, Kaumudi made me trigger this. How happy are you? How happy are you? 1. How peaceful are you? Are you peaceful? Peaceful. 3. Do you have purpose in life? Do you have a purpose? Or you're just drifting? 4. Is your suffering high or low? In this point, your suffering should be low. Less suffering. Less suffering. And self-realization. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I'm not the ego. How much have you realized? God realization, what Krishna Sharma said. Do you feel Satyam Shivam Sundaram? Do you feel God everywhere? G, E, enlightenment. How much of the myth you believe? How much of the truth? Karma. How much do you understand? Karma, life, birth, death. How much have you understood in that? And then Sat Chit Anand. S. Sat Chit Anand. If you are able to measure yourself in these 9 points, then you reach the 10th point of Nirvana, of moksha. So I just was inspired by Kaumudi and Krishna Sharma's answers, and I'm sharing with you. But next, please, anybody else wants to add to this, or we can go straight on to question answers? You lost me out. Can you all see me? I'm not able to see you. Okay, thank you. So over to you. Question answers, or anybody wants to say something? Administrator, over to you.
Here I have
So
a
we
question.
have a written question. The written question I have is, as we begin transcending duality, possible to hear the very voice for God in the people we surround. So I thought I was getting disconnected and I got disconnected, but luckily I have a spare system. So this question that I just read out, as we begin transcending duality, what happens to our relationships? So many people are scared. What happens to the relationships when we transcend duality? Because if I transcend duality, then you and me, we are one. We are not two. Then is it possible to hear the very voice of God? I hope, I'm not sure whether you can still see me. Sudeep, anybody can just give me a signal whether you can
Yes,
hear
sir.
me, please?
All is fine, sir. We can see you and hear you.
Thank you. So back to the thing is, so people are scared about this question of duality.
I think again we have lost you.
Okay, I apologize for a little loss of, no, I hope I'm back now. So when people say, is it possible to hear the voice of God in the people we surround ourselves with? Yes. When the moment you're able to transcend duality, what happens? If I think Samita and me are not Samita and me, we are not separate, we are one. Then when Samita speaks, I can hear the voice of God. How I can hear the voice of God? I don't visualize her as the body, the mind, and the ego that is speaking. Suppose somebody is saying something wrong, somebody is saying something evil, somebody is hurting me with what they are saying. I still don't get affected. Why I don't get affected? Because I believe that they are a manifestation of the divine. I believe this. I realize Gautam is not Gautam. He is God. He is Sip. When I see Gautam as a supreme immortal power, that's when I have transcended duality. I don't see Gautam. Everything is one. And sometimes people wonder how it's possible. How it's possible for everybody to be one? We're all different. Yeah, it's just like the gas balloon in the park. The child sees pink, blue, green, orange balloons. The balloon wala is tying balloons on the tank, on the gas tank, and so many balloons. And the child goes and asks the balloon man, uncle, that balloon, red, blue, green, orange, white, pink, all flying na, uncle. Bolo, what? If I put black balloon, will it fly in the sky? And the gas balloon man says, of course, my child, it will fly, because it's not the color of the balloon. It is what is inside it. It is not the color of the balloon. If you put gas and black balloon also, it will fly in the sky. So we are unaware, and when we overcome duality, then we are able to experience the divine. Of course, the person writing the question says, can you hear the voice of God? God has got no voice. God speaks in human voice. God speaks in human voice because we can only understand human voice. Do you know that the frequency of animals and men and human beings are different? Have you heard that? Sometimes if we speak, like if we whistle, sometimes a dog will start running. Because for the dog, it's very, very high frequency. Or some animals cannot hear to our frequency and we cannot hear to frequency of some birds and some animals. So the frequency of God is very different. Questions? Let's get on to some more questions. If first priority live questions, please don't lose the opportunity of your live question. Otherwise, only we go to type questions. Live questions.
Hey, Shivam,
Shivam, bolo Gautam.
here I just have a small doubt that if an enlightened soul should remain all in 4 yogas, or else he can be in 1 yoga.
You cannot be in 4 yogas at the same time, no, Gautam. Either you can be karma yoga or bhakti yoga or jnana yoga or dhyana yoga. You cannot be in the same info. You cannot have the 4 yoga at the same time.
But is necessary to have all 4 yogas?
No, it's not necessary. For example, you may be enlightened and you may have only bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. There's some people, they don't have karma yoga at all. Some people like Mother Teresa had only karma yoga. For her, everything was karma yoga, bhakti yoga. Oh Lord Jesus Christ and karma yoga, serving the poor. She probably didn't have little bit of dhyana yoga, and there was no jnana yoga. She didn't bother about jnana yoga, for example. So it doesn't matter which yoga you are in, as long as you are in yoga. What yoga they say is very important is 2 yogas are very important. One yoga is dhyana yoga. Why dhyana yoga is very important? Because in the dhyana yoga, you reach that level of consciousness. Dhyana yoga. And then bhakti yoga is very good, important. Why bhakti yoga is important? Because bhakti yoga, without bhakti yoga, you can't realize God. You can't realize that God is Sip. If you want to realize the supreme immortal power that we call God, you need bhakti yoga. If bhakti yoga is there, dhyana yoga is there, jnana yoga will come. Karma yoga is there or not there. But you know what most people do, Gautam? Most people, we pay maximum attention to karma yoga. Most people are very, very, sometimes once I asked my guru, what you're telling people karma yoga is very important, but actually you're telling me karma yoga is not important. I asked my guru. He said, let those useless fellows do karma yoga at least. Because they were not doing anything else. Right? He said, at least let them do karma yoga. If they cannot do anything else, let them do good karma. Let them go serve the poor. Let them go do some good karma. My guru, once he told like that. Because everybody is not capable of jnana yoga. But karma yoga, anybody can go and do. Anybody can go serve the poor. Anybody can help. But we have to go beyond that point.
But bhakti yoga means I can listen to your live bhajans. That's also bhakti yoga, no?
Any form of bhakti. Bhakti means love for God. Don't listen to my bhajan and think about me. You think about Sip. Correct, na? Bhakti yoga means you should love God. Bhakti is your devotion for the Prabhu. Prabhu paas hai, Prabhu paas hai. I'm just starting to write a new bhajan CD today. And the CD I'm starting to write today is called Prabhu paas hai, from the latest realization. CD number 58 of Air Bhajan. So we are starting a new bhajan CD. Huh?
Thank you.
That is bhakti. Prabhu paas hai, Prabhu paas hai. God is near, God is here. God is near, God is here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Krishna Sharma.
Shivam, sir.
Yeah.
Whether the universe was created on its own or Sip had created the universe.
Sip has not created the universe. The universe is a manifestation of Sip. So Krishna Sharma, every atom of this universe is what? As per science and as per spirituality, both of them agree that every molecule of matter is energy.
Yes.
This is even Upanishad also says, and even science also says. That means if we are going back to that universal law, which states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. Therefore, we think that this beautiful universe is created by God. No, this beautiful universe is a manifestation of God. It is God. It is Sip. It is not created by SIP. It is supreme immortal power. You are SIP. Bridget is SIP. Motkula Anand is SIP. Dasi Budrani is SIP. Everybody whom I see in front of me, all are SIP.
What is the necessity of it?
That he knows. SIP knows. It's just like one child came and asked, why God made grass green, sir? Can you please tell me, sir? I said, because God does not like yellow. According to him, yellow, dirty fellow. So he made green. No, what to do, what answer to give? The child is asking, why can't God make the grass yellow? No, God likes green. He made green. First of all, green is only what we are seeing with our eyes. Imagine tomorrow when we wake up in the morning, our eye camera becomes black and white. Imagine tomorrow morning you wake up, everything is black and white. What you will do? Many people are colorblind. They can't see. They only can see black and white. We should be grateful. Are we grateful to SIP? Are we grateful? Imagine, Krishna Sharma, what is your favorite food, Krishna Sharma? Tell me 3 of your favorite food. Tell me 3. What is it? 3 items.
Favorite food?
Whatever you like. 3 items what you like to eat.
Dosa.
Dosa. Then
Obbattu.
Obbattu. Then
Chakrapangali.
Suppose you are eating dosa, Obbattu and Chakrapangali, but everything tastes like grass. There is no taste in it.
Gone case.
Then what life will become? No, what life will become? No, some people, when you get COVID, I got COVID for 2 days. I could not get any taste. No chili taste, no salt, no pepper, no lemon, no taste at all for 2 days. Imagine permanently we are like that. We human beings, when we are talking about spirituality, the rest of the world who was not talking, they will get a rude shock one day. Because people thinking escaping from spirituality is easy, but the result is very difficult to face. If we don't evolve on the journey of spirituality and we don't become enlightened, we are going to suffer a lot. We are going to have big time suffering. Thank you. There's a question now from Bridget. Bridget says, if I choose peace, at least of have right, am I in the right way? If you choose peace, at least of have right, am I in the right way? What are you trying to say? If you choose peace, are you on the path of enlightenment? Are you saying that? Or what are you, just explain a little bit, please? What are you trying to say?
Shivoham.
Shivoham.
I want to say, in fact, if I choose to be in peace,
Yes.
at least to have rights on a matter, I think I choose a good way.
Choose
a good way, because I become more in peace with me.
Correct. What now I understand what you're saying. So you're saying, is it not the right thing to choose peace? Because if you don't choose peace, then what is the opposite? You will be stressed. You will be worried. You have fear. You have anger. You have hate. You have revenge. All negative emotion. So when you choose to be peaceful, so what happens, Bridget? When you choose to be peaceful, you are divine. You are in a state of happiness. Bridget, peace is the foundation of happiness. Suppose you are very happy. Suppose you are very, very happy, and somebody come and robs your peace of mind. What happened to your happiness? It's gone. It's completely gone. You may be having a big party, a big celebration, but somebody come and just robs your peace. People don't understand. Peace is the foundation of happiness. If you want to be happy, you must have peace. Most people in this world don't have peace. Most people, they have money. They have success, they have stress, they have family, they have wife, husband, children, house, car, bungalow, but they have no peace of mind. What is the use? There are many rich people who say, what is the use? I have no peace. So yes, a peaceful life, peace comes from contentment and fulfillment. Pleasure comes from achievement. When you are chasing money, success, achievement, you get pleasure. That is step 1. If you have contentment and fulfillment, you're step 2. On step 2, you are not having pleasure, you're having peace. I'm peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Okay, next question, please. Anybody with a live question? Before I take a typed question. Yes, live.
You said that this full world is God. So it is Maya, no? How it is God?
This world is a manifestation of God. This world is a manifestation of God means, okay, you see around you, right? There are trees, there are mountains, all those things. You can see or you cannot see?
I can see.
Only you can see or I also can see? Or everybody can see?
Everybody can see.
Yeah, that means it's there.
Oh.
But that what appears to be is actually Maya. Means it is a projection. What is a projection? You know projection? In your TV, inside your TV, Amitabh Bachchan is there.
No, but yeah, समझ में आया अभी.
तो कहाँ से अमिताभ बच्चन शाहरुख खान कहाँ से आता टीवी में? From where? It's a projection from the TV tube, from the tube in the TV. The electrons, electricity, power shut off हो जाता तो कोई कुछ भी नहीं आएगा. Power चाहिए. Electricity comes, then the TV works, then the voice of Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan will come, and the projection comes. But it is not real, na? But some of your people, if you see some of your ammas, grandmother and all, they will watch the TV, they will start crying, no? Oh, wo mar gaya, wo bechara mar gaya. And they do. They think the TV also is real. So coming back to your question, everything in this world is a projection. And that projection is a manifestation. That projection is nothing but energy, power of the SIP. It is Maya. But what is that Maya? That Maya itself is SIP. Maya, the projection that you see, if suppose you're seeing a mountain, the mountain is made of molecules of grains of sand. Every grain of sand is energy. What is this energy? Ultimately, energy is projected as a mountain. But हमें दिखने में, you know, in Hindi they say, मिथ्या का मतलब क्या है? Have you heard this? मिथ्या का मतलब क्या है? दिखता सच पर वो ना है. जैसे अंगूठी दिखती अंगूठी पर, सच में अंगूठी ना है. अंगूठी से अगर हम सोना निकाले तो फिर वो कहाँ है? सोना अगर निकल जाए अंगूठी ना है, अंगूठी तो ये माया है. The ring looks like a ring. If you remove the gold, there is no ring. It only appears as a ring. Actually, it's only gold. Okay. Any of the last 1 or 2 questions before we close today? I hope we are touching the subject of spiritual progress. Today's main topic was that. Are you measuring your progress? Huh? How are you measuring? Ashok Nichani, how are you measuring your spiritual progress? Are you trying to measure your spiritual progress?
Yes, Sirji, I'm trying to increase.
How are you measuring it?
I can't measure it, Sirji.
So you must try to measure. For example, you must measure. Ashok, I'll give you a simple example, okay? You can maintain a diary for my sake. Can you buy one notebook tomorrow?
Sure, Sirji.
Please buy a notebook from tomorrow. And I want you to measure. Every day, Ashok Nichani, every day, you please write how many minutes you're spending in silence.
In silence, okay.
How many of you have a notebook like this? That every day, how many minutes I'm spending in silence? Anybody has got? I rarely think anybody will have a record. This is a simple method. Am I asking for too much? Am I asking you for too much? I want, and you don't submit it to me. I am not saying submit. I am asking you to please reflect every day, maintain one notebook. And if you want to grow in the journey of spirituality, one page can be silence. Another page can be every day, how many minutes you're spending in Jnana Yoga? How many minutes? How many of you know how many Zoom sessions, Ask Care sessions you have attended in the last 3 months? Anybody knows? How many you attended? How many you missed? How many you have missed? Anybody knows? I'm not asking for my sake. I'm asking for your sake. So the point is that if we have got a track of as many things as we can measure, and I'm giving you some small things. My silence is very important. Silence, I'm telling you, if you want to grow, if you want spiritual growth, silence is critically important. I cannot emphasize the importance of how much if you just remain shh, try to be silent. I'm telling you, only 1 minute in an hour. Is it too much? 1 minute. I'm asking Motkula Anand, can you be 1 minute every hour? Can you be? You tell me if you can be tomorrow, I'll give you a prize every hour if you are spending 1 or 2 minutes in silence. Sometimes we are not able to spend even 2, 3, 4 times silence.
Guruji, I want to ask something.
Yeah, bolo.
Pranam, Guruji.
Pranam. Oh, Mataji, aap aa gaye. Then okay, Mataji, then Kaumudi, okay?
First ask her. Another lady was asking. Let her ask first.
Okay, no problem. Anybody can ask. Kaumudi, ask Kaumudi. Then Kiran will ask. Kaumudi? Kaumudi, are you there?
Yeah, so I meditate 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the night. But out of that, lot of times, like you don't realize and your thoughts take you somewhere. And then, of course, when I realize, I again come back. So how do I count how many minutes of silence actually I did?
Because this you're not giving this, you're not submitting this to the government of India. No, for you, right? No, you're not submitting this book to anybody. Correct. It is your private diary. Correct.
Right.
So you write, for example, you write. I'm telling you, I have the same problem. I mean, everybody. I mean, when I would be trying to be in silence, and I say I'm going to spend 15 minutes in silence. Actually, I only spend 2 minutes because 13 minutes my mind has robbed me. 13 minutes out of 15 minutes, the mind has stolen me and taken me somewhere else.
Right.
So it is very challenging. So when you are in the state of silence, you must try to note how many minutes of consciousness you had. Consciousness means where you don't lose track of control of your mind. Once you lose control of your mind, then you're gone. Nah? Then your 1 hour is gone. 30 minutes over, 40 minutes over, then you come back. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
It's very common. It's not unusual. Don't think only you are having this problem. Everybody in this world is having this problem. Okay. So you try to be conscious. Try to be conscious. And trying to be conscious, actually, you cannot count the number of minutes, but you have to kind of roughly contemplate that, because the moment your time in your mind is going on minutes, then you're already back to your consciousness already.
Yes,
you can't be watching the clock when you're consciousness. You can't have that.
But no, so how can we write the minutes like you are saying? Let's say some case only for a few minutes, I think 4 or 5 minutes I have thought, then I go completely blank. Let's say, then so I know. Yeah, 55 minutes I was there.
Write in whatever method you want. The method should be understandable to you. If you are writing, you don't have, Rekha should not understand your method. And you don't have to understand Rekha's method. She will write it. So suppose she will say, Rekha will say, today I was sitting for 1 hour in silence and meditation, but I was upset the full 1 hour. I was stressed out the full 1 hour. Right. Tomorrow she will write, I was sitting in 1 hour today and I was so blissful and peaceful. Most of the time I was blissful and peaceful. This kind of an analogy is enough to make you understand where you are.
Okay, got it.
Because we don't have to use worldly metrics. We don't need metrics of the world to understand these things.
Okay.
Got
it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So Kiran Kathuria, last question.
Guruji Pranam, my question was same. That Kamadi has asked. My question was same which Kamadi has asked. But one thing I want to know, we talk about silence. It is only when we meditate. Otherwise, what happens? Suppose we too are there at home. My husband is sitting in one room, I am sitting in another room, and we are quiet, doing nothing also. Then at that time, that is not silence.
No, that is not silence. Because your mind is wandering everywhere, no? Your mind is wandering, आज भी माटी बनाना, अभी कोकोनट बर्फी बनाना, अभी मंदिर में जाना, अभी भजन सुनना, अभी ये करना, अभी वो करना. Mind is thinking all type of things. What you want is, you want the consciousness. What consciousness you want? Suppose you are sitting and your dhyan is on Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. And you enjoy the ananda. Not just that you're singing, but you're singing and you're saying Shivoham. Oh, do puri banana mere liye. Shivoham. Oh, palya thoda dalna, mirchi nahi dalna. Shivoham, Shivoham. Oh, Krishna Sharma aayega na, usko dosa banana hai Krishna Sharma. So make dosa for Krishna Sharma. Shivoham, Shivo. That is not, what is the use of this kind of...
But Guruji, I feel the same when I hear your bhajans. I really feel Shivoham type of
so you must feel
when I hear your bhajans.
We have to reach that state of consciousness. We have to reach that state of Prabhu mera jeevan arpan karu tujhko aur kuch na main chahta तू जो मिले मुझको स्वीकार मैं हूं करता देता जो भी मुझको प्रभु मेरा जीवन अर्पण करो तुझको. You get into an ecstasy. You must get into that ecstasy, and you must get lost in that ecstasy. Then you are not in the world. You are out of the samsara. Then you are in that.
One thing more, Guruji. Suppose we are meditating and we listen to your bhajans slowly, very low voice. Is it okay?
Yeah, but you should feel the state of consciousness. Listening to my bhajan is not the point. The point is, by listening to the bhajan, are you reaching that state of consciousness? Are you feeling God's divine presence?
Yes, yes.
Then you are there. When I sing, I forget everything. For me, I sing and I forget everything.
I want to say.
Huh?
Yes.
You should forget everything. Prabhu paas hai, Prabhu paas hai, Prabhu paas hai. Now the time is telling me our time is over. So with
Sirji, one point, Sirji.
Yes, sir, bolo.
Sirji, when I hear your bhajans, I go into meditation.
So that is because of the divine inside you. The bhajan is only a trigger. When the bhajan is playing, the divine inside you, the sip inside you is coming alive. Try to keep that sip alive all the time, more time. Keep it alive as much as you can. That is your challenge.
Yes, Sirji. Try.
Thank you. We will meet tomorrow at 8. Shivoham, Shivoham.